Today we're going to talk about finding slope from ordered pairs and tables. Hopefully by now you've watched the video on how to find slope from a graph. Just a refresher or review of slope from a graph. When I have 2 points, I just look for the rise and the run. In this case, I'm going up 2 over 1, which simplifies to a slope of 2. And that's great if you like to count on a graph and if you're given a graph. But what if you don't like to count on a graph? Or what if you're just given 2 ordered pairs? Then how do you find the slope? Well, let's see. I can identify the points that are on the line, and here I've done that, -2, 1 and -1, 3. And I can use a special formula that will help me find the slope. Here is the formula, and let's start talking about the letter M. In math, we use the letter M to stand for slope. And that is just the rise over the run, which we just showed, how far up we go and how far over. And the formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. But what exactly does that mean? Well, the 1s and 2s are not exponents, and you can tell that they're at the bottom and not at the top of the number. They're just representing which ordered pair they came from. For example, I could say that this ordered pair is ordered pair number 1, and this ordered pair is ordered pair number 2. And so when I want y2, I want the y value from the second group. So let me show you this, how it works out. Here's a little secret. It does not matter which ordered pair is considered the first ordered pair and which one is the second ordered pair. I'm going to go ahead and just say that this is the first one and this is the second one. And I want you to remember that this is the x and this is the y, this is the x and this is the y. So to follow the formula, I'm going to take the y from the second group, which is that 3, and I'm going to subtract the y from the first group, which is the 1. And then I'm going to put a fraction line, and I'm going to start with the x from the second group, which is that -1, and the x from the first group, which is the -2. Now, there are 3 ways that people mess slope up. The first way, which is the most common way, is they put the x's on top. And the reason they're doing that is because when you plot an ordered pair, you always start with x. But with slope, you always start with y. So make sure you keep the y's on top. The second thing people do when they mess up is they'll put the y from the second group on top. But then when they get to the bottom, they flip it and they put the x from the first group. These 2 numbers right here should be from the exact same ordered pair. Numbers on top of each other should be on the same ordered pair. All right, let's see if I can erase that without killing everything else here. All right. The third way people mess this up is that they don't subtract integers correctly. And so if you're someone who's having troubles subtracting positive and negative numbers, you might want to start with a calculator just to make sure that you're setting up the slope correctly. And then once you're really into knowing how to set up the slope, then maybe start trying to do the math without a calculator. So here we go. 3 minus 1, that's a 2. 1 minus -2, and I'm going to do the keep it, change it. Looks like that is going to become a positive 1. Alrighty. Now, usually slope we leave as an improper fraction, but if it can be turned into a whole number, we will do that. And so our slope is a slope of 2. All right, I had to show you the slope formula because this is something that you're going to see in math books throughout your career in math. But is there an easier way that would then also help me avoid some of those mistakes, those common mistakes? Absolutely. Let me show you. I call this the table method. I make a table, XY, I put one ordered pair, I put the next ordered pair, and then I see what the change is. So when on the Y side, if I go from 1 to 3, how far did I go? I went up 2. On the X, how far did I go? I went up 1. It's the change in Y over the change in X. There we go. Exactly the same one I had before. Try this one on your own. Either use my method or use the formula. Either way. Okay, I'm going to use my method. So I'm just going to stack them up, X and Y's. And I'm going to choose the one with the smallest x value first. All right. I'm going down 3 here. I'm going up 2 here. And so my slope is change of y over the change of x, negative 3 halves. I do not make it into a mixed number. I leave it as an improper fraction. Pause the video, do this one on your own, but use my stack method. All right, here I go. xy, negative 6, 4, negative 4, 5. Does it matter which one I put on top? Not at all. When you simplify, it's going to be the same fraction. I'll show you that in a minute. So here I go. Plus 1 on this side. It looks like plus 2 here. So the change in y over the change in x. Bam. Now what if I had done it and I put the other number on top? Well, let's do that. Negative 4, 5. Negative 6, 4. This time I'm going down 1. This time I'm going down 2. So it's a negative 1 over negative 2, which would simplify to be 1/2. So it really doesn't matter which ordered pair you stack first. I just like to put the lowest x first. That way my change in x will always be positive. All right, let's find slope from a table. Well, guess what? I'm doing exactly what I just did, except now I have 4 sets of ordered pairs instead of 2. But ladies and gentlemen, it is the same thing. What's happening on this side? Plus 6. What's happening on this side? Plus 2. My slope is a change of y over the change of x, which in this case simplifies to a slope of 3. Pause the video, do this one on your own, then come back and see what you got. Well, if you got negative 2/3, you are correct. Now here's something. If I tell you that this is from a line, this is a linear function, you only have to pick 2 things. So I'm going to just go from here to here. What am I doing? I'm going down 2. From here to here. I'm going up 3. So what's my slope? Negative 2 over 3. Keep it simple, y'all. All right, let's do 2 more, but these are kind of special. So let's look at the first one. What's happening here? Well, I'm going up 0. And what's happening here? I'm going up 1. And so it's a 0 over 1. Now, we'll determine what this is in just a minute. I want you to see both of them first. What's happening on the second one? Well, we're going up plus 1. Here, what is happening? Well, we're not going up at all, so plus 0. So this fraction would be the change of y over change of x. Which one of these is 0 and which one of these is undefined? Well, the first one is 0. You can have a 0 as a numerator. That's fine. So that's a 0 slope. But you cannot have 0 in the denominator. So this one is undefined. All right, there you go. Now it's your turn to go find some slope from ordered pairs and tables. Have some fun.